Welcome. It's another beautiful day and I've got my coffee. Let's watch some stuff.
You eat this insect every day. Do you like shiny food, beautiful chocolates and candies? Then you definitely tried E904, a food additive known as shellac, which obtained from the resin and mucus secreted by the female lac bug, which makes chocolate candies, peels and fruits very shiny. You can find it in Ferrero, Kinder Chocobons, Chocolate, Milka, Mentos, Galaxy and others. E904 is also used as glazing agent for fruits like peaches, apples, melons or citrus fruits. It is also approved for coffee beans. Add a plus sign in the comments if you would like to get more information like this one.
So that's on our food, and that just touches a little bit on shellac. I do have another video coming up in a few minutes, and I want you to see. It's a little bit longer. I'm pretty sure it's going to go more in detail about it, and you're definitely going to want to stick around for that. Hey, I just want to take a second and thank you so much for joining me for today's coffee talk. If you're having a good time, maybe you'd consider hitting that subscribe button and come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
Yup, terrifying mold is currently growing in your child's fruit drinks all across the world, and the FDA won't do anything about this. Parents have been shocked as viral videos show Capri Sun drinks, among others, being found allegedly with small to large mold spores floating and swimming around in their drinks. Mass people have poured out their Capri Sun in fear of what disease this mold could cause, as studies have shown drinking mold can cause painful and symptoms like headache, memory loss, nosebleeds, and allergic reactions, with doctors warning if accidentally ingesting some molds, it can pose serious health risks, urging people to rinse out their mouth and seek medical attention immediately. Capri Suns are more susceptible to grow mold as they contain natural fruits, making the mold potentially thrive. To view the possibility of mold, it is seen near the bottom, usually found spread out or in clumps, and can be visually inspected through the bottom clear part of the Capri Sun drinks. Capri Sun themselves have issued a statement saying the mold should only occur if the drink has been exposed or the pouch was punctured. This happened as their drinks are made without preservatives. Capri Sun denies any health risks, saying their mold is naturally occurring and not harmful.
So they straight came out and said, our mold is naturally occurring and not harmful. They didn't go, no, there's no mold in our products. But still, that's disgusting. I used to put Capri Sun in my kids' lunches all the time. All the time. It was cheap, it was easy, and, they liked it. Luckily, they grew up and their tastes have changed and they stopped liking it, but that's still crazy. I would totally want to check those before giving them to your kids.
You know who Garth Brooks is?
Yes. By the way, he's the most successful singer of all time, not just country.
Holy shit. Good fam. Basically, Garth Brooks goes on these huge tours around America. Coincidentally, most of the cities and towns that he visits, there happens to be in that city on the night that Garth Brooks plays there.
Someone compared his tour schedule throughout history with throughout history, and they found that
all follow the same
like a serial.
Garth Brooks will never comment on it.
He hasn't addressed it in years.
That's bizarre. If somebody was saying Bryce Bloom's a murderer, I'd be like, I'm not, but that is funny.
Or I'd be like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Like, where did this come from? But to ignore it, it's like, oh, you're a murderer.
How do you know this? Because
someone compared it. Someone was like, look, this is this tour schedule.
That person has way too much time.
Somebody went through this. Now,
I'm worried about that person that did that.
Sometimes you just find
the person that took the time is the serial killer.
There may be a serial killer and they're following Garth Brooks' tour to pin it on him.
Yes, no,
genius.
I'm telling you right now, that's the serial, because no one would ever say, "Let me think about this."
Well, they probably just noticed a pattern.
The great
Notice
one.
a pattern.
I've been seeing this for a while, and I think it is just absolutely food for thought. Okay, they say, or not they, but very specific people have said that Garth Brooks, if you take his tour dates and you line them up with not just unalivings, but missing persons cases, there's a lot of coincidences. Like they line up, which is crazy, and it's super creepy. And then they go into how awkward and very weird Garth Brooks is when he posts on Facebook. So if you ever look up any of his postings or just even look up Garth Brooks, creepy Garth Brooks stuff, you're going to find all kinds of weird stuff. And even you are going to be like, I see it. You may not believe it, but you'll see it. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's just a strange coincidence? Do you even see the patterns? It's really weird.
This is one rabbit hole you're never gonna forget. Chances are, if you've ever eaten manufactured foods, you have eaten this creature. And interestingly enough, it has a weird connection between these two. Here we have your lac bug. This is an Asian scale insect that lives on trees and produces secretions that are used in the production of shellac. When you first Google shellac, you'll see this. Shellac is a resin secreted by the female lac bug on trees in the forests of India and Thailand. Let's take a disgusting trip with this guy to see how and where this stuff comes from.
So come along and travel with me to the jungles of eastern India. The white threads seen on the encrustations are wax secreted by the insects through their breathing and anal pores. Anal pores. The lac encrusted branches are scraped and the dried lac is accumulated. This is called stick lac. It contains the dead insects and is crushed to break open the pods to release the red dye. The dye is used as coloring matter in the textile, printing, and food industry. Food industry.
This part is especially creepy. Here, the Department of Agriculture tested this shellac for arsenic. The data show that all of the samples examined contained arsenic. Here it makes it to our food as a resinous glaze. And apparently they need to add an alcohol-based solution to make it food grade. Of course, the FDA had to get in there and approve this stuff as quickly as possible. They're using just the right amount of arsenic, so we're okay. Nearly 100,000 bugs die to produce 1 pound of shellac flakes, which are combined with alcohol to make a confectioner's glaze. So we have your dead scale parasite anal secretion resin that we smash these dead parasites into, then add arsenic and alcohol so that it's safe to add to your food, beer, cosmetics, and much more. If you're wondering why you've never heard about this, it's because it's deliberately disguised. Believe it or not, this rabbit hole keeps going, but I think we get the point.
That's awful. That's disgusting. So it's if you see confectioner's glaze, that's what it is. It's their anal secretions and just various other nasty stuff and the bugs themselves. Yeah, this is in our natural flavors, right? Natural colors, natural stuff that goes in our food. That's totally okay to go in our food. That's what we're eating. The shine on all of your produce is when they mix that stuff with alcohol into a spray so that it looks nice and pretty. That's gross. Jelly beans, it coats jelly beans, right? Anything that's shiny and has a confectioner's glaze, that's what it is. That nasty bug secretions. Sounds good.
When we landed on the moon, there was around that crater above where we landed, there were multiple ET craft that were just hovering there watching. And that is true. That's 100%. The Apollo mission was a militarized operation competing with the Soviet Union. And the space program ostensibly was really a proxy for the Cold War. That's the truth.
So you're telling me when Buzz Aldrin stepped on the moon, he saw 5 extraterrestrial aircrafts?
More than that. I knew beforehand.
Well, you can
do what?
Have you seen the picture of them at the press conference when they got back? You can tell they're just like, yo, this, like,
we're freaked out.
We're freaked out. We want to say something.
So what? I invited Neil Armstrong to the Disclosure Project event at the National Press Club, and his really good friend of his, who was on my team, said he was informed that he, his wife, his kids, and his grandkids would all be if he did that. I mean, imagine the stress these guys are under. They've seen amazing stuff. I mean, I've worked with hundreds of these men and women who've been in these projects, and they have a kind of PTSD.
I keep seeing these keep popping up that there were aliens when we went to the moon. What do you think? Do you think that there were aliens on the moon and that was the whole purpose of us going in the first place and that's why we haven't gone back? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think. I'm really interested to know what you think. And then check out this next video. It's really cool.
Ingo Swann projects himself to the moon. What he finds is insane.
There are some fascinating stories from the military research that was done by the CIA in remote viewing. Officially, the US military shut down the project. Unofficially, they transferred it into what they call deep black project so that they are not answerable to anybody. Ingo Swann records how at one point he got bored with his exercises. They were too basic. They asked him to project himself to the moon and seeing things on the moon, then on Venus and Mars. In certain cases, when he projected himself on the moon, he even found beings, human-like bodies who were working there, some mining operation going on, obviously extraterrestrial. And in one case, when he found himself projected, he was looking at them, and out of curiosity, he approached this person, wondering what is he doing. And the person turns around and looks at him straight and points to him and shouts, "There's somebody here." So that person had the ability of perceiving someone else in an out-of-body condition, recognizing him. And so the fear in Ingo Swann was so great, he pulled back, came back, and that whole thing was shut down. The military asked him to stop this experiment. But what was interesting is, because he had projected himself, he could be detected.
I think they have spotted me. Axel. They were pointing at me, I think. How could they do that unless they have some kind of high psychic perceptions too? Axel said in a calm, low voice, so low I hardly heard it at first. Please quickly come away from that place. My eyes were wide as understanding drained in. That they can trace where this psychic probe is coming from? Is that it? Axel had started smiling again. If it's telepathy, then it's a different kind, at least from how it is understood here on Earth.
If it was done in a purely mental consciousness, without a vital exteriorization, the mind simply turns, becomes aware, and like a mirror, reflects an image of whatever exists anywhere in the universe. You have not gone somewhere, and there is no way for them to know that you are there.
So this guy, Ingo Swann, was like the man at teleporting his consciousness to other locations and being able to tell, CIA, hey, this is what's going on over there. And he sent his consciousness to the moon and on the dark side of the moon and found aliens. So there's another alien on the moon story, aliens on the moon story. But if you want to see a really, really awesome story, check out the Y-Files. He does like some of my favorite work. And AJ looks into this Ingo Swann, and his story is spectacular. You're going to love it. As for me, that's it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Here's my cutting room floor.
3, 2, 1.
That's just a little taste. I do have a longer video, another video coming up. So hang with me. You'll see a little more gross. That's on our food. That's on our food. They actually came out and said our mold is naturally occurring and not harmful. So they're like, yeah, our drinks have mold in them. That's gross. My candle went out. Another one bites the dust. It's a good thing I got it back up. It doesn't smell as good as the Buc-ee's roasted pecans, but it's still nice. And the CIA had tested him, and he would only do once. He would only do telekinesis. He would only do this. Ew. Am I right? Ew. My nose itches, I'm sorry, but ew. Aliens on the moon. Aliens on the moon. Aliens on the moon. Why not? He could teleport his consciousness. Send his brain. So he would send his consciousness to the moon and see what was going on there. There we go. There's aliens on the moon. That's probably where they're just hanging out, waiting for us to do something. Because we're not doing anything.